Hello.
Hey, Tiandra.
Hi.
Hey, I have Israel Vazquez on the line with me.
Okay. Hola, Israel. ¿Cómo estás?
Oh, muy bien, gracias.
and let me grab, we have our next guest. Let's see who this is. Hello, you are on with the Ruckus.
Yes, hello?
Hello, who is this?
Yes, I am calling under the name of Macho Lopez.
Okay, hang on the line. So we are now joined, for those of you tuning in, this is the Ruckus broadcast, the calling number 718-508-9852. We are joined by future Hall of Famer El Magnifico Israel Vazquez and his fighter who will be fighting this week on Fox Sports 1, middleweight prospect Carlos Lopez. Welcome, gentlemen. Pleasure to have you all here this evening. And, of course, Nancy from Supreme Boxing will be helping us out with the translation. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiandra. And actually, I'm just going to have Jaden interpret. That way we don't get confused on the call.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Nancy.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so Jaden will be joining us with El Magnifico and also with Carlos Macho Lopez. We'll be talking about his Israel's current stable of fighters. Of course, like I mentioned, Carlos Lopez will be fighting on the 4th on Fox Sports 1. And a little bit later in the show, we'll be joined by Oscar Godoy, who also trains with Israel Vazquez, who will be fighting on the Amir Khan Devin Alexander undercard December 13th at the MGM. So I'm going to start with a few questions for Israel, if you could translate for us, Jaden. First of all, just let him know that it's an honor to have him join us. He has added a tremendous value to the history of boxing, and it's a pleasure to have him with us tonight.
Okay. Israel?
Sí.
Give me a moment, I'm sorry. Israel?
No.
Sí.
Sí. Dice aquí la señorita pues que es un placer conocerte y tenerte ahorita en el radio. ¿Y qué más?
No, pues gracias por tomarse el tiempo de hacer esta entrevista y muy contento de todas las palabras que me dijo.
He said thank you for having him around at this time. He said it's also a pleasure, and thank you guys for having him around and asking these questions for him.
Okay, so ask Israel, how did he connect with Carlos Lopez, and how has their working relationship been so far?
Dice la señorita que si cómo está la relación con Macho López, cómo va su entrenamiento, qué fuerte y cómo lo ves.
Pues tenemos una relación muy buena. Nos acoplamos muy bien en los entrenamientos. Tradúcele y te digo poco a poco para que no te olvides, Ryan.
Okay. He said it's a pleasure to work out with him. It seems like they're always getting along. They never really seem to have any trouble in which understanding of how to do the work, and it's a pleasure.
How did they first connect? How did their working relationship begin? How did he begin to train with someone who is headed to the Hall of Fame like Israel?
Who is that question for? I'm sorry.
That is for Israel, and then we'll ask Carlos how he has enjoyed working with Israel thus far.
Okay. Dice la señorita que si cómo tú te sientes trabajando con Macho.
Muy a gusto. Creo que Macho es un buen peleador. Tenemos una fe muy grande en él, en que va a salir de las grandes ligas del boxeo, y pues contentos de estar trabajando en su esquina.
Tisha said that it's very comfortable working with him. Also, like I said before, there's no problem. That's the same thing that Isha just said a little bit about right now. And he has a good future for him. He has very good faith on him that he's going to make it to a very huge level, and where he's going to be known not only as a boxer, but also as a good sense of humor.
A question for Carlos. When he began working with Israel, was it intimidating those early days training with someone who's had such a long history with boxing?
Dice que ¿cómo tú te sientes trabajando con Israel? Desde el principio, desde los primeros días, ¿no te sentiste algo intimidido por su historia o algo sorprendido?
No, pues me siento muy bien, gracias a Dios. Cuando lo conocí al principio sí un poquito, pero después como pasó el tiempo y nos acoplamos uno al otro y trabajamos 100% bien.
He said he was very surprised. He didn't expect to get very good along with them. He feels very comfortable. At no moment he felt intimidated, maybe just a bit surprised that, Israel took him to his hands and invited him to stay with us, and also it's very enjoyable for him to have this lifestyle going on with Israel and others, and it's a great thing for him.
For Carlos, as he's been working with Israel, what improvements has he noticed to his fighting style when he enters the ring?
¿Qué ha sido ¿cómo te diré? Tu progreso sobre tu boxeo? ¿Cómo vas a ir con tu plan de boxeo esta vez?
No, pues esta vez estamos súper mejor que la pelea pasada. Estamos más condición, mejor físicamente, mentalmente. Estaremos al 110% mejor que las últimas veces para esta pelea.
He said we will be better active, more explosive. He's ready physically and mentally, and we're going to be at 110% at this time. And he feels at 120, but he just wants to prove 110 since it's too much. If he does prove the 120, it's too much for the crowd. I'm just kidding. But yes, you will be feeling at 110%, and we're going out loud, and we're going to show what we got to the crowd and, do what we do best.
And a question for Israel. As he watches his young prospect develop and begin his career, does he have any flashes that remind him of any of the greats of the past?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part. Can you repeat that, please?
Sure, no problem. As Israel watches his prospect develop and come into his own style, does he have a signature punch that reminds Israel of a fighter he's seen in the past?
Israel, dice aquí la señorita que en los propuestos que le has ponido al macho sobre el entrenamiento, tú no te recuerdas de un golpe de que te recordé a ti de cuando tú pegabas y tú dabas lo tuyo, que si te recuerda macho a un estilo parecido más o menos.
No, Macho tiene su propio estilo. No quiero, pues sería bueno, ¿verdad? Pero no quiero lograr que sea un Israel Vazquez, quiero lograr que sea un Carlos Macho López que tenga la mejor habilidad con la experiencia que le estamos transmitiendo.
Israel said there is no way that he reminds him of an Israel Vazquez. Absolutely, he wants him to become his own priority, his own person, his own create his own Carlos Macho Lopez. And I mean, it would be a good thing for him to have a bit of a signature of Israel, but yet, I mean, he's his own person, it's his own style, and we're just working with it.
For Carlos, my co-host here, he is also macho. He is Ryan Macho Bivens. How did Carlos get the nickname Macho?
What was that? I'm sorry.
My co-host, his nickname in the ring is also Macho. How did he get his nickname Macho in the ring?
Que si como tú agarras el nombre Macho en el cuadrilátero, ella también tiene un familiar que se llama Macho. ¿Cómo tú lo agarras?
Bueno, pues desde pequeño me crié entre familia, que todas eran mujeres, y como yo era el único varón, pues ahí fue que me bautizaron como Macho. y desde ahí me quedé como macho hasta el sol de hoy.
He said he had just all his ancestors were just sisters at the time, at the moment, and so I guess the name Macho just came out of nowhere in a boxing gym, and so that's where it all came from. Since his all friends were calling him that he was the only boy in the family.
As he heads into this fight on December 4th, what does Carlos know anything about his opponent, and how is he feeling? You know, he said he's going to be 110% going into the fight. Is there anything specific that he's worked on through his observations of his opponent?
¿Cómo tú te sientes? ¿En qué plan vas con esta pelea? Si sabes algo de tu peleador, un defecto, lo que tú pienses, ¿cómo tú la verías?
Pues yo la vería que vamos a ir con todo, a ganar todos los asaltos. No sé mucho de él, sé que le gusta contraatacar, le gusta boxear, pero estamos 100% preparados para lo que él tenga, y si él no viene bien preparado, pues el primero o el segundo pues se va por knockout.
He said he doesn't really know anything about his fighter. He doesn't really know much, actually. But no matter what round it is, we're going to come out strong. And if he's not ready, I mean, we're going to either knock him out in the first or the second, either or.
And one more question for Israel before we welcome our next guest. When he was still, well, my last question anyway, Ryan may have some questions for Israel. How meaningful has it been to his career so far to watch these young guys and develop these young guys? You know, have him talk a little bit about, you know, how much the training aspect of his career has meant to him.
Okay, Israel,
sí.
¿Cómo tú te sientes entrenando a los menores ahora que tú ya hiciste lo que tú hiciste? Dejaste tu corazón en el cuadrilátero. ¿Cómo tú te sientes entrenando a los menores ahora que los ves tú, ahora como carrera, como entrenador? ¿Cómo tú responderías a eso ahora que tienes otra nueva carrera y vas por delante y no hay un paro?
Pues justamente es ese reto que siempre tuve, ahora no como peleador, sino como entrenador. Quiero lograr ser uno de los mejores entrenadores después de Freddy, Robert, Joel, Nacho Stein, porque al igual que el boxeo me enseñó a hacer todos los retos y tomo este reto como algo personal, donde yo tengo que mostrar al mundo que soy capaz no solo de boxear, sino también de enseñar a la gente y luego pues, también de otras muchas cosas que tengo en mente.
Israel just said, he said it's a pleasure training these youngsters. As a one upon a time, he did do it as a fighter. Not only that he wants to do it as a fighter, but also he did it as a trainer. And now as he goes on, he wants to take it a little bit personal for the fact that he wants to be better than Robert. He wants to be better than Freddie Roach and also Nacho Beristain. So I guess you can say we will be at a top level, or he will be on a top level. And it's going to take some time, patiently, but yet we're going at it, and he's going to be doing what he likes to do, and that's boxing, obviously. And so as time goes on, only time can tell.
Okay, well, since he's talking about training and he mentioned that it's now personal, I'd like to ask him a question that was posed to by one of our listeners. Ask him if he thinks if a trainer inherits a fighter later in his career, for example, like a Miguel Cotto, Freddie Roach relationship, does he think that there's that much more a trainer can teach a fighter at that stage in their career?
Dice la señora que si tú piensas, como ya lo estás tomando un poquito más personal, de que quieres hacer no solamente un entrenador regular, sino simplemente también algo más arriba de eso y quieres llegar al alcance de esos entrenadores que nombraste ahorita, ¿Cómo tú lo ves?
Precisamente eso es como un reto personal. Tengo, no es una, ¿cómo se puede decir? Algo que yo tenga en contra de ellos. Sencillamente, pues quiero llegar a nivel de ellos y si pudiera hacerlo mejor, porque creo que tengo experiencia y sé que todo lo depende de los peleadores, pero yo confío mucho en ellos.
He said he doesn't really want to take the whole training process or as a coach as a personal thing and throwing it at them as coaches, but I just want to be in a top level, starting out with them. And there's no rivalry. There's no me being better than them in a mean way. I just simply want to be at their top level, and I know that I have the experience to do it, so why not go for it?
Absolutely. So once again, if you're just now listening in, we are speaking with El Magnifico Israel Vazquez and his middleweight prospect, Carlos Macho Lopez, who will be fighting on Fox Sports Thursday. My co-host, Ryan Bivens, has a couple questions. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, this question is for Israel. I wanted to know if, in his pursuit of being one of the best trainers in boxing, will that be impeded by his, commentary duties? I believe he does the Golden Boy live shows for Fox Deportes.
I'm sorry, give me one moment. I'm putting in the charger. Yes. I'm sorry, can you repeat that real quick? Just the last part?
Yes. Okay. Will his commentary duties for, Golden Boy Live, on Fox Deportes or anywhere else, impede him from being one of the best trainers in the world, which he wants to be?
Israel, tú como comentaristas, más o menos de qué te gusta platicar un poquito de más de cuando llegas, no solamente como comentarista, pero igual como entrenador, ¿qué tenías que decir de eso?
Bueno, mi labor como analista, lo tomaría así, es precisamente eso, ¿no? Tratar de sacar o dejar de saber a la gente el error que comete el peleador, lo que puede hacer para poder corregir ese error y pues tratar de buscarle una estrategia para ese momento en la pelea. Sin embargo, bueno, yo soy un ser humano y igual me puedo equivocar.
He said that
let me ask him, Jaden, real quick, because I know what Ryan is asking. Israel, lo que está preguntando Ryan es si tú piensas que tu labor como comentarista va a afectar tu labor como entrenador.
No, de ninguna manera, porque prácticamente tengo todo el apoyo de la televisión, en este caso del productor, que es el que se encarga de hacer los arreglos, y incluso hicimos algo que solamente creo que Emmanuel Stewart lo había hecho con HBO, era comentar y dar instrucciones en una esquina, y yo lo hice por primera vez en español.
Okay, Ryan. Israel says that he has 100% support from the television, which is Unimash Solo Boxeo, who he's working for right now. And he's able to do both. Having the same fighter on the card, he was the first trainer other than Emmanuel Stewart, but he was the first trainer in Spanish to be able to commentate the fight and be in the corner at the same time. This was last month for the Iron Boy show. It was live, and they had the cameras on him as a trainer and at the same time as a commentator, and it was actually, he did a really great job at it. So he feels that he'll be able to do both. I'm sure with the workload that comes in, he's going to have to balance everything out.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well,
sorry, Jaden, I just wanted to clear that up real quick.
It is an honor to have you joining us, Israel, and we definitely look forward to seeing Carlos fighting this Thursday on Fox Sports 1. So at this point, we have your other prospect, Oscar Godoy, who is waiting in the queue. So we are going to part with Carlos Lopez, and then we are going to bring on now Oscar Godoy. So hang on one. Muchas gracias, Carlos, y buena suerte este viernes y tu pelea. That was my Spanish. How was that?
Muchas gracias a ti.
De lado. Okay, and let me bring on Oscar Godoy.
Hey, how's it going?
You are on. How are you doing, Oscar?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? I'm just happy to be here on the show with you guys.
Excellent. For those of you joining us, we are now joined by, or listening to us, we are now joined by welterweight prospect Oscar Godoy, who will be fighting on the American Lamont Peterson, Devin Alexander undercard that is taking place December 13th at the MGM in Las Vegas. And you will be fighting against Yoshihiro Kamagai, a guy that we have seen very, very tough opponent ahead of you. How are you feeling as you head into this fight with a clear, tough opponent?
I feel great. I think it motivates me more that I know that I'm going against a tough opponent, and I already studied a lot of his tapes, and together with my coach, we formed together a very great game plan, and I feel like we have what it takes to pull off the upset on December 13th.
And working, we just spoke with one of your stablemates, Carlos Lopez. Tell us a little bit about your working relationship with Israel Vazquez. How did your relationship cultivate, and how has it gone so far, having him in your corner?
Yeah, well, I met Israel at some boxing fights a long time ago, and he was a commentator, like you guys were saying earlier. And I met him, and I asked him for a picture and everything, and he was a really down-to-earth guy. And then as time went on, I realized that I needed to change trainers. And together with my manager, we came and asked Israel if he would train us, and he said, yeah, that he would be happy to train us because he had already seen me fight, and he knows what I need and little things that I need to work on and everything like that. And it's worked out very great. I mean, I'm happy. I like the how do you call it, the like how we get along. We get along very well, and like if something's wrong, I let him know. Like something doesn't feel right or something, and then but I usually, I mean, every day is a tough day because we're working very, very hard, and I'm just happy to be training with him because he's a ex-world champion, and he has a lot of experience in the ring. And there's no a fighter. Fighting at the height for so much time.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry, Oscar. We lost the last part of what you said. You got drowned out there for a second. If you could just repeat the last thing that you said.
Yeah, I said that because I told Israel, I told him himself that I'm very happy to be working with him and very motivated because I told him that there's nothing like a trainer who has already been there fighting at the highest level, fighting for world title fights, fighting 12-round fights. So he has all the experience in the world. So whatever he tells me, like I feel very confident that I'm doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just happy to be working with him.
Let me ask a question for Israel. Is Israel still with us?
¿Is that?
Sí.
Sí, okay. Van a hacer una pregunta para ti. Ahorita yo te la traduzco.
For Israel, Oscar is getting ready to enter into a fight with a really, really tough guy that we've seen recently in the ring, and most recently with Robert Guerrero. Would you like Oscar to go toe-to-toe with him in the middle of the ring and exchange?
Dice que si te gustaría que yo me quedara en el medio del ring y a intercambiar golpes con este Kamagai, que ¿cómo ves tú?
Hicimos un buen plan de trabajo. Yo creo que Oscar como peleador va a saber el momento cuando tiene que cambiar golpes y cuando no. pero vamos a dar una buena pelea. Confío mucho en Oscar, confío mucho en su capacidad y creo que no dudo, más bien que vamos a salir con esa victoria ante ese japonés duro.
Yeah, he said that he trusts that I know when to exchange punches and go toe to toe, and when to not exchange punches and go toe to toe. So he knows that he trusts that I know when to move around and when to slug it out. And he said that he trusts in me very a lot. That he thinks that actually he said that he feels confident that we're gonna come out with the victory against that tough Japanese opponent.
So Oscar, I know that, the direction and style and strategy is left to your team, and you go out and execute the plan. How much of Kamagai have you watched as you've gone through your camp to prepare for the fight with him?
I started studying him right away. As soon as they told us about the fight, I saw a few of his fights. I saw his last fight with Robert Guerrero, and then I saw about 2-3 other fights of Kamagai. And then we studied him very well, and we figured out a game plan. And if we stick to the game plan, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna come out with the victory. It's just a matter of like I said, just sticking to the game plan and like Israel said as well, like exchange punches when I have to exchange punches, but then when I don't have to, I mean I just move around and box them, counterpunch them, and just come out with the victory.
So, Oscar, tell us a little bit about yourself. We know that you're entering to this fight with Kamagai. Tell us a little bit about Oscar the person and, how you got into this.
Well, I'm 24 years old. I'm from Watsonville, which is up north, like on the coast. And I'm training. I've been over here training for about over 2 months with Israel. And I like it over here. I mean, I started boxing when I was 8 years old, thanks to my dad, who liked boxing a lot. He got me into boxing. My older brother also used to box, but he doesn't box no more. And I really like boxing, and I just I didn't see myself doing anything else besides boxing because that's a sport that I really, really love and I dedicate my life to. And I enjoy every day, even though it's a tough day at the gym or it's a tough fight. I mean, I really enjoy it because it's my passion. Boxing is my passion.
Okay. Ryan has a question for you.
Yes. Hi, Oscar. I wanted to know, what did you think went wrong in your last fight with Cecil McCalla?
I think in my last fight with Cecil McCalla, personally, I think it was we needed to study him a little bit more because we didn't know what we were going up against. That's the first thing that went wrong. Second thing is we weren't really pressing the attack as much. Like Cecil McCalla was standing in front of me the whole time. It was up to me to press the attack because he was already in front of me. It wasn't a matter of him running around or nothing like that. It's just we needed to be more active in the fight. I think that's personally the main thing that went wrong there.
Would you want a similar strategy for a guy like Kamagai that's, it's dangerous, if you get close to him?
Similar strategy? No, I think the strategy is going to be different. For Kamagai is going to be more of a box him and be fast and rely on my skills. With Cecil McCalla, there was times that I was trying to brawl, but then I didn't know how to get in. I felt a little confused, but I felt like in this fight we already have a game plan. We feel like we already studied him. We feel a lot like 10, 20 times better for this fight than we did for the last fight. You guys are gonna see a very different Oscar Godoy in this fight.
Okay. Is the distance is 8 rounds. How do you think the distance helps the fight? You think that suits you more or him more? Do you think he's like a slow starter that kind of needs those later rounds?
Yeah. Well, originally it was going to be a 10-round fight, and we agreed, but then for some reason I don't know why they changed it to 8 rounds. And my trainer Israel said that it was better because that way, since I had never been 10 rounds, it was better because that way I could box hard the whole 8 rounds and without having to worry about condition or nothing like that, without having to worry about me getting tired. I think it favors me that it's a 8-round fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Oscar, for those who are listening to the show and they want to keep up with you and follow your career, where can they find you on social media and stay connected with you?
Yeah, on Facebook, they could find me on Oscar Godoy. I recently made a athlete page, and you could just go ahead and like and keep up with all my posts about what's going on with my career. And on Instagram, you can find me at Yo Soy Godoy. That's YOSOYGODOY. And then Twitter, I mean, I have a Twitter, but I don't really go on it that much. But I mean, I'm just gonna give it out there as well. It's the same as my Instagram at Yo Soy Godoy, but then it's 831. So it's at Yo Soy Godoy 831.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more random question before we wrap it up. Being that you are going to fight this Thursday, how did you make it through Thanksgiving without eating everything?
Actually it wasn't that tough. I mean, it was just it's all in the head, like everything in life. I think that everything it's all in your mind. If whatever you put you put your mind to, you could accomplish. If I was like, oh, I'm not gonna eat, then at the end of the day, I just tell myself, I mean, I'm not gonna eat, so I just end up not eating that. I mean, I ate a little bit, and I ate like a little bit of turkey with vegetables, but I didn't really like eat like other years where I really gained like 10, 12 pounds. So in this time we took it more of a light meal. So, but yeah, like I said, it's just all in the mind. That's what helped me.
All right. Well, after fight week, you have to tell the family to get Thanksgiving dinner ready all over again and do it all over again.
Yeah, I already missed my mom's cooking, and hopefully she will be waiting for me with a nice big meal when I get back.
That's right. All right. Well, good luck. It's been a pleasure. We'll be watching you. I'll be out in Vegas for the fight, so I'll definitely be checking you out. So good luck, and I wish you well.
Well, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure being here on the show, speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, and Israel. An absolute honor. Thank you for joining us. Those of you who listen in, of course, you have the opportunity to win a signed glove from El Magnifico Israel Vazquez. Muchas gracias for doing the show with us.
Thank you very much for your time, for support to my fighters and me. Have a nice night.
Thank you.